Did you know that if we humans carry on with business as usual, the global economy will lose at least $479 billion a year? That is nearly $10 trillion in losses by 2050.
क्या मतलब क्या मतलब क्या मतलब
ये क्या कर रहे हो?
कितनी आसानी से आपने कह दिया ये क्या कर रहे हो अजी शॉक लगा है शॉक
In this video, let's explore the side effects of business as usual and also understand what we could do to curtail this issue. Caution: this video is going to be long but worth your time. So grab a cup of coffee or chai and enjoy. But before diving deeper, subscribe to my channel, The Sustainability Mindset, and press the bell icon to get the latest update. So, what is business as usual? A scenario for future pattern of activity which assumes that there will be no significant change in people's attitude and priorities, or no major changes in technology, economics, or policies, so that normal circumstances can be expected to continue unchanged. Sorry, that was too technical. Now, let me tell you a story about a forest for better understanding. A story of the forest. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful forest. She had a huge family with her that included birds, animals, insects, water, soil, and air. They all worked together as a family and stayed happily. One day, there came a human named Sam, saw the forest, and immediately decided that she belongs to him and that he would use her to fulfill his dream of owning a furniture industry. Within few days, Sam started his furniture industry by cutting few trees from the forest, but forgot to observe the harm he had caused to the forest without her consent. She had lost her arm and a few of her family members like bird, animal and insect who were dependent on her. To keep the furniture business up and running, Sam cut more and more trees, leading the forest to lose both her legs and remaining arm along with few more of her family members. Each time Sam cut the forest, she would lose her family members. The lucky ones were lucky enough to relocate, but the unlucky ones, like water, soil, and air, deteriorated along with the forest. Finally, there came a time when the forest was put to rest. After her funeral, emotionally turmoiled air, water, and soil decided to take a revenge upon Sam for his wrongdoing. With no forest to cut, Sam was forced to close his furniture industry. While returning home thinking how would he make more money, his eyes noticed the barren land where once stood a beautiful forest, and he slowly moved towards it. Suddenly, the air temperature rose high due to high content of carbon dioxide emitted by Sam's factory. Sam started to feel uneasy. He quickly ran towards water to fetch some. When he reached there, he observed a green patch floating on top of the water surface, caused by dumping the chemical waste produced by his own factory. Unable to drink the water and bear heat further, he tried to find a cool place to take some rest, but found none and ultimately took his last breath on the barren land. So, does the story strike a chord? Yeah. Of course, I'm not saying that all businesses are involved in an inherently unsustainable practice of extracting non renewable resources like Sam, but it's clear that something is wrong with business as usual. Today, the dominant form of business in the world is shareholder owned corporation. A key feature of these corporations is that it's legally bound to maximize profits for its shareholders. Take Henry Ford's example. As a pioneer of welfare capitalism, Ford had declared that instead of paying increased profit to shareholders, he wanted to employ still more men to spread the benefits of his industrial system and help them build their lives and their homes. However, a court order forced the Ford company to issue a special dividend to shareholder rather than reinvest the money as Henry Ford wanted. You will be astonished to see the shareholder-owned corporations have become so dominant that if you rank nations by GDP and corporations by revenue, then 40 of the top 100 economy in the world are corporations. Walmart is little smaller than Iran and little bigger than Belgium. The Chinese oil company Sinopec Group is nestled between Norway and United Arab Emirates. Volkswagen and Toyota Motors have put Finland in their rearview mirror while they race towards Pakistan, and in my opinion, this act of monopoly should concern you. Without judging the prudence of allowing corporations to control wealth on the scale of a nation, we can say that these companies have been spectacularly successful at growing revenues and concentrating power. So, how do they do that? Either the business is exploiting a loophole or is caught in a vicious circle. Actually, profit and growth are two different things. A profit is the difference between the money a company makes and the money it spends, whereas growth is an increase in total production. Therefore, a company can grow without increasing profit or increase profit without growing. But because there is a ruthless competition in the market, companies forcefully or willingly produce more and more goods to compete against one another for market share or simply to survive. Why? Because the more goods a company produces, the cheaper its individual unit cost becomes, and the easier it can reach or surpass the financial break even point, establishing a certain connection between profit and growth. However, the company forgets to understand that to produce more and more goods and services, it requires more and more energy and natural resources, which is finite. Oh, no. This is what happened in Sam's story about. The bad news is, because of this ruthless competition, today we are using 11 times more energy and 8 times more the weight of material resources per year in comparison to just 50 years ago. So basically, we have managed to design the whole system from the core for a greater ecological system collapse. That is, the way we feed, fuel, and finance ourselves is destroying the planet's life support system upon which we depend. As we enter a new decade, we are not just in an environmental crisis, we are heading for an economic crisis too. No. How? For that, we need to understand the basics. That is, how does nature contribute to people for a better quality of life? Because this will give you a clearer picture as to how connected we are with the nature, and if we create a small disturbance in nature, we will end up creating disturbance in our life. The nature contributes to people in three different ways in 18 different categories. A thorough explanation about the categories will be done in another video if you demand, but for now, let's concentrate on the broader prospect. First, nature provides basic life support for humanity. That is, it provides clean air and potable water by regulating the environmental processes. It acts as a sink to mitigate carbon dioxide. For example, the marine and terrestrial ecosystems are the sink for carbon dioxide. They help mitigate 5.6 gigaton of carbon dioxide per year. Further, the nature regulates ocean acidification, protects soil quality, provides pollination, and this is all for free. 2. Nature provides material goods. Nature plays a critical role in providing food and feed, energy, water, medicine, and generic resources, and a variety of materials fundamental for people's physical well being and for maintaining culture. For example, the combined market value of livestock and fisheries are nearly $1.3 trillion in 2016. More than 2 billion people rely on wood fuel to meet their primary energy needs. Between 25 to 50% of pharmaceutical products are derived from generic resources, and some 70% of drugs used for cancer are natural or are synthetic products inspired by nature. 3. Nature also provides a non-material experience, such as inspiration and learning, physical and psychological experiences, and supporting cultural identities. Also, not to forget tourism to protected areas that generate an estimated $600 billion annually. These services are free and naturally provided by the nature. But these free and wonderful services aren't enough for us humans. So what we do is we modify the services to meet our needs. We clean forest for agriculture to grow commercialized food whose value was estimated to be $2.6 trillion in 2016, or grow high-value industrial commodities such as timber, whose import value is estimated to have increased six-folds from $2.6 billion in 1970 to $16.16 billion in 2017. But you will be astonished to know that this disturbance in nature is costing us between $235 billion and $577 billion in annual global crop output as a result of pollinator loss. This was just one example. A report Global Future considers the benefit that nature provides to all nations and industries through ecosystem services such as the pollination of crops, protection of coast from flooding and erosion, supply of water, timber production, marine fishery, and carbon storage. The model then assessed how the natural assets that provide these services, such as forest, wetland, coral reefs, and fish stock, would change under various future development scenarios, and in turn, how the consequent changes in ecosystem services supply would affect economic outcome, including GDP, trade, production, and commodity prices. The results showed that in a business as usual scenario, reduced supply of the six ecosystem services alone would lead to drop of 0.67% in annual global GDP by 2050. This would be equivalent to an annual loss of 479 billion US dollar compared to a baseline scenario, assuming an economy of the same size and structure as in 2011. This would mean over the period between 2011 and 2050, the total accumulative loss would be 9.87 trillion US dollars. So what could you do differently? First, promote new business model. See, businesses are organization that creates value. But that value does not need to be limited to producing consumer goods and services. It can also include generating social and environmental values. Try service solution models. Generally mean maintaining ownership of the equipment that provides the service and take responsibility for supplying, maintaining, and recycling this equipment. For example, a US-based company, floor covering services. Rather than buy a carpet from Interface every 5 to 7 years, a floor covering service provides a leasing service to keep a space carpeted. If an individual carpet tile wears out, they collect it, break it down, remanufacture it, and replace it for you. This generally reduces resource use. You can also try social enterprise model that embeds social or environmental goals into their business model. For example, The Big Issue, a UK-based company that addresses the problem of homelessness by providing homeless people with the opportunity to earn an income by selling newspapers. Another thing we could do differently is adapt new measures of success for business. A change in economic landscape due to new business modules seeking to create social and environmental value would require new measurement of progress. This measurement does not only track performance but also provides insight to potential investors. Natural Step is one such organization that helps business assess their performance on sustainable objectives. ISO 1400, a standard developed by International Organization of Standardization, helps firms reduce pollution and protect the environment is another option. These standards are just the beginning. There would be much more in the coming years. So lead the change with a sustainability mindset, a mindset for the changing world. Please write in the comment section below if you have any questions. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and comment to the sustainability mindset, a mindset for the changing world.